yesterday, right? It was July 3rd. It was like 1 o'clock, like 1:15. And I had like taken a nap because I was tired. Like I didn't sleep good. I even tried going to sleep early, I think. And I only slept probably like 4 or 5 hours maybe. So I was tired. And whenever I got a chance, which was around like 1, I was like, I'm gonna take a nap. So it's funny taking naps though. Like people say you're a grown man. I take naps whenever I can. If I need it, I'll take naps. But so I'm like, I'm gonna go take a nap real quick. I went to my room and I went to sleep. And this was probably like it all happened within like I'd say maybe this was like 30-45 minutes max, maybe less. I don't know. But I was dreaming, and I remember like I was dreaming other dreams too, but I can't remember them. But I know I was. But what I do remember is that I had a dream where I seen Jesus, right? And I'll try to explain it as best I can because the thing that happened to me, I can't explain, but I'll do my best. So like all I remember is I was behind a van and a white van. Like I don't know, maybe you because you know cars. Those vans that have double doors in the back. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the E-vans?
The one that have like a handle and they open like this.
Like you're talking about like the vans where people kidnap people.
Yeah, it was one of those. And the doors were open. And to my right was Jesus. And he was speaking to like 2 or 3 other dudes. Right? He was speaking to them. And a dude came as I was sitting in the back of the van. A dude came and he went to close the doors of the van. And when he did that, I told him no. I said, don't close the doors. And he said, why? And I told him, I need Jesus to mark this. And I don't remember what that item was, but I wanted him to do something to this item. And I remember saying, if he permits it, like if he allows it, I want him to do this to this item. I don't know if it was something like bless it. I don't know. I don't remember. So the dude said, okay. And I'm just sitting here and I'm watching Jesus talk to these 3 dudes. Right. And I didn't see Jesus' face. I just seen his hair. But I knew it was Jesus by looking at him. I knew that, oh, that's Jesus. And what was crazy thinking back on it, I was like, it was almost like so normal. It wasn't like, oh my God, and like, this is Jesus, like crazy thing. It was like, he was just another human right there. And I was waiting for him to finish talking to these 3 people because I didn't want to interrupt him. So I was just waiting. And when he finished, I said, Father, to him. And when I said Father to him, he turned and he looked right at me, like straight at me. And like, you know how sometimes, I've told you before, sometimes you call to somebody, whether it be your dad or your sister, whatever, and they ignore you. You have to ask them like 3-4 times for them to get your attention. It wasn't like that with him. I said Father. And when I said that, he turned to me and looked me straight in my face. And like, I can't explain that focus he had on me. It was crazy. But then he started walking towards me. And when he got closer to me, I couldn't see him anymore. It's like almost I didn't know what was happening. And now that I had time to reflect on it, I'm like, it wasn't darkness. It wasn't like I was in darkness. But I don't know if it was light. But the only thing I can make sense of it, this is a dream. But the only thing I can make sense of it is like it was light, where I couldn't see anymore because he was so close to me. And people say that Jesus has this light that's blinding, like, so that's the only thing I can make sense of that, right? But as he got close to me, I started spinning, and it's not like this is what's so hard to describe, because it was like almost like if it was like it's almost like if I was on a machine spinning in like 360s. Like, you know, have you ever seen those? I don't know what they're called, like in Jimmy Neutron, where there's that thing and those lines around it, like the galaxies or stuff, whatever.
Oh, you're talking about Adam?
Adam.
The electrons?
Yeah. It was like I was spinning in all those directions.
Around something?
Yeah, just in position spinning. I don't know I don't know if I was going anywhere. I don't know. But it was right as I started spinning, it was kind of like it was picking up pace. And it was spinning and it picked up pace to the point where I felt it And I was scared a little bit. But in that moment, I said, I trust you. I said, I have faith. I trust you. And when I said that, it started spinning hella fast, like crazy fast. And the only way I could describe it to you is like, you know how when you get on a roller coaster, like that, but like times, I don't know how many times, hella bad. It was spinning so fast. And when it's spinning so fast, I was relaxed. I was relaxing my body when this was happening because I was like, I trust it. Like it's God, whatever it is, I trust it. When it started picking up pace crazy, I got scared. I got scared because like it took me a second to realize like, oh, I'm dying. I might be dying. And then I quickly thought like, oh, I can't die. People need me. So when I thought that, I panicked because I was like, oh, I felt like I was already over 65, 75% there. And I was like, I can't, people need me. And I woke up, my eyes open in my bed. I was looking in my room, but I was still spinning, but it wasn't my body spinning. It was, I was telling my mom, it's like, the only thing I could think of is it was something else, but it was me spinning. But I was in position in my bed and I was sleep paralysis mode, eyes open.
And still, could you see clear? Or was it everything was going crazy?
No. Everything was, this world wasn't moving. When I opened my eyes, everything was normal, like I'm looking at you. But something was spinning. It's almost like an out-of-body experience. And the only thing I could think of is, was it my spirit? Was it my soul? I don't know what that was. But I was still spinning and I was still in panic mode, even though my eyes are awake. And I was trying to break out like this. And then I eventually broke out and got out. And then
you were trying to break out of the sleep paralysis?
I was trying to break out the whole experience because, like I said, I thought I was dying. I thought I was dying. I was okay with it. In the beginning, I was okay with it because I was like, it's God. And I was okay with it. But when I realized that I might be dying, I was like, I can't die yet. I got people who need me. I can't die yet. I can't just leave them. No matter where I'm going, even though it felt so crazy. Like, and I was thinking like, if I didn't have that thought, like if people need me and if I would have just went, where would it take me to? I don't know where it would have taken me to. But when I woke up and I got out, I was able to move again. I laughed and then I was disappointed in myself because I was like, damn, I failed. And I was like, I said, forgive me, God, because I'm afraid. And then I just sat there and then I just woke up and then I just felt like you know, in The Chosen, it was Simon who asked God to like, if it is you, tell me to walk on water. Remember, he's like, call to me to come to you. In the Bible, it was Peter. The same thing. Who said, if you are who you say you are, call me onto the water, whatever. It was Peter. And I felt like him because he's like, right, trust in me, right? And he's like, come. And then when you're going, you let fear take you out. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt like I let Jesus down. I let him down. He's like, and mom's like, maybe he was testing your faith. And I was like, maybe he was. But that's how I felt. I felt disappointed in myself because I was like, I let him down. And when I boiled it down, I was like, Jesus would not let me die if it's not my time to die. He's not going to let me die. Although this is a dream, right? Let's make that clear. It's a dream. But I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. So to me, it's almost like, do I just sit here and say this is a dream? Or do I accept that this can be a message, this can be something that I can't explain it, right? I can't say, but to me to deny it, like this is just a dream, I don't know, that's hard for me because I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And even though I just told the story, I don't feel like it does it justice on when I was spinning to wherever I was spinning. And when I try to boil it down, it's almost like I was going through like a portal or something. But at that point, I couldn't see nothing. I was just spinning super fast. And I remember there's that feeling of like of a roller coaster, right? Going super, super fast. But it sped up when I said, I trust you. I have faith. And mom told me maybe he's like, okay, let's see. And that's why it sped up. And I was like, I don't know. But to me, that was like the most craziest experience I've had.
When you seen Jesus, you knew automatically it was him?
Yeah, I just knew it was him, no question.
Even though you didn't see his face yet?
I didn't see his face, no. And then as he walked towards me, I don't remember seeing his face. But there was no doubt in the dream. There was no doubt that was Jesus to me. I'm like, that's him.
Nothing felt evil?
No.
At any point?
No. It felt good because when I said to him, Father, and he looked at me, the amount of focus that came to me made me feel like, oh, I'm important. Because like when I called to him, it wasn't no call to him twice. Nothing like that. I called to him. I waited patiently till he was finished. And then when I called to him, he put all his focus on me. And I felt it. When he looked at me, I felt it. And I felt like worthy, oh wow, because like you just put all your attention on me. It's almost like calling you, like saying like, hey, calling you by your name and you coming close to me to hear what I gotta say. It was like that. And it's just, I don't know why when he got close to me, I couldn't see him anymore. And I wasn't there wherever I was because I was on ground, on concrete, behind that van, waiting for him to mark or do something to an item. I don't remember that item. And when I called to him, it's almost like all that went away. It wasn't that no more. It's almost like I don't know what was happening. And I can't describe that. Like there's a lot of questions to where was I going? What was happening? Was Jesus trying to tell me something?
And it's scary when you wake up and you can't move and you're still spinning. Seems like that shit would be scary.
Yeah, because I was spinning hella fast. And I was telling mom was telling me, she's like, you're lucky. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, because not a lot of people can have dreams of even dreams of where they say they saw Jesus. And you got to see him. But it's like, I didn't see him. I seen him. I seen him in the body, right? Like I seen Jesus as in like if he was back in the day in human form is what I mean. That's how I seen him. But like, I don't know. It's so hard to describe it. But that's what I think. To me, I believe he was trying to tell me something. Because I can't just sit here and deny it as it's just a dream.
This episode is brought to you by Casa, Flores, Taqueria, and more. June 10th will no longer be the opening day. If you want to stay up to date for when they will open, you can follow their social media pages below. We will update you here as soon as we know more. But for now, let's get back to the podcast.
I just remember that scene from The Chosen because I felt like because I remember when I watched that scene, I was like, oh, I would have kept my faith. But now being in this experience, I'm like, oh, I failed. Like it's almost like Jesus was like, okay, you trust me? Let's see. Like,
but it don't seem. I don't know. It feels wrong to say, but it seems messed up.
To test someone's faith?
Yeah, but test them in a way where
I don't think so.
To test them in a way like that, like when I think of the kill your son for me, that seems messed up.
Yeah, but you can't really judge it because you don't know the full context of that story. Just like I don't know. So that's why when I hear something, when somebody states something from the Bible and it seems a little weird or off, I don't take it from their opinion. I have to read through that myself to understand it. Because it just seems like there's a lot of people out here who pick pieces of the Bible to make you be like, nah.
To pull you away from it. But whenever I see anything, I question it. Whenever I hear anything, I question it. And it's a thing.
Me too.
I know it's a thing. It just, when you tell me this from your experience, and whenever to test someone's faith and like, it just seemed like that's to put them through something like that seems kind of fucked up. But I don't know. Why?
But I think it's just from what your thing is. Like, I don't think it was messed up because it's like the mom was like, are you scared now? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, to have that same dream again? And I was like, no, I want it to happen again. Well, I'm nowhere near afraid. When it's God, I'm not afraid. And God said it himself, I don't put fear in y'all. Fear doesn't come from me. So I am not afraid when it comes to God. Like I said, I trust him. But at that moment, I feel like I failed him because I'm like, damn, like I laughed and I was like, damn, like I let fear get to me. But it was the fear of leaving when I felt like it wasn't time for me. Because I accepted it. In the beginning, I accepted it. I was for the ride. But then again, it got worse. So it's not like if something gets worse, maybe you're more likely to give up. So who knows, even if that aside, if I would have gave up, because it was getting intense. And I just gave up. I got scared. I panicked out and I wanted out.
You know that there's this, because when you say that, when you're spinning that fast, it reminded me of this the conversation of the scientist that he had with Joe Rogan. Forgot what the scientist guy name is, and they got this particle collider that is like 11 miles and it goes in a circle for like 11 miles, and they send fucking, I don't know if it's atoms or protons or what, I don't know what the hell. They send them around. They go around like I don't even know how many thousand times per second around, and then they'll crash into each other and create like an explosion. So when you say that your ass is spinning hella fast, that's what I envision. The speed of light, like going around, like you said, but like 1,000 times a second.
No, but my body was doing 360s.
Oh, I thought
wasn't in position. No.
I thought it was just your spirit.
No. My body, whatever it was me, but doing 360s. Like my body was like your body's flat. It was
So you were
doing
doing
this
this?
as I'm traveling somewhere. It's almost think of like a boomerang or a ninja star. You see how a ninja star is spinning while it's traveling? That's what was happening to me.
But you were spinning in every direction?
Yeah, spinning in every direction super fast.
You're probably going to a different dimension.
I don't know where I was going. My dad was laughing because he's like, because I told him that I was scared. he laughed. And I was like, it's because I told my sister, if you experience 3 seconds of what I experienced, you would have quit at 1. Because there's no way. Because I was long enough in there. Like if I had to put it in time, I was probably in there for like 15 seconds. And the first 10, I accepted it as it was getting worse. Because when it got worse and I felt it and I'm like, this is hella strange. I remember saying, I trust you. I have faith.
How bad did it get? Like the first 8 seconds from 1 to 10. It's scary wise compared to the last 7.
It probably like from 5 to 10 seconds is when it started ramping up from like 5, 6, 7. I would say it went to like 7 or 8.
As far as like terrifying
when I
level?
said, I trust you. No, I'd say it's 7. I'd say it's 7. And then when I felt it, I was feeling a little scared already. But I was like, I trust you. I have faith. And then when I said that, it went up to 10. But it went up to 10 as 8, 9, 10, like that. It wasn't just an immediate 10. It was almost like a treadmill. It picked up speed. That's what was happening.
I wonder, like, you know how there's a lot of people who, like I see a lot of these people that are really heavy pro God, like they're into preaching.
Yeah.
The people who are have really good connection with God, it'd be interesting for you to tell them that and see what they think of it.
If they can explain it to me.
Well, I don't know if they'd be able to, but I feel like they would be able to ask you a question that might give you a different like perspective of something in your dream, to make you think of it in a different way, to make you realize something you didn't know before. But it'd be interesting to see, like, because I know for a fact you can't be the only one dreaming about God, right?
No.
It had to have happened to a lot
I've
of
heard,
people.
that's the thing though. I've heard a lot of people talk about these dreams, about God showing them hell and God showing them all these other things. And to me, it was always questionable, right? But now that it happened to me, well, it's nowhere near like he showed me hell because he didn't scare me in any way. And I take that as like a good sign because I've been pursuing him. So when I'm pursuing him and doing everything in my power to do right, I felt like, to me, that was just like, I don't know, if I really boil it down, when he looked at me, I just take it as a sign of like, you're doing good. Because he acknowledged me. He turned, even him turning and looking at me was like already a trophy, right? Him acknowledging me. Remember I told you I was like, out of all the people in the world, I feel like God knows who I am. And that's hella egotistical right there. But I don't mean that like as far as I'm special. I just feel like, because I feel like God knows who we all are in a specific way. But when you chase him, like when I heard the dude say, preaching the word of God, I don't know his name, but he said like, pursue Jesus and ask him like, I will not leave you alone until you show yourself to me. You show me everything. I will continue to chase you and follow you and read the Bible, do it, live right, do as you do until you present yourself into my life. And I'm not gonna leave you alone. And that way it was like I'm pretty sure if you chase it in that manner, you're gonna get something. You're gonna get something.
It's weird. It's weird to think of that it could happen to anyone, huh? And you think that even if you don't, it could happen even to the ones that don't follow, the people who are the furthest away from God. You think even they can?
Yeah, because I
change?
told you there's people who said that Jesus came to them and told them about their wrongdoings, that they're gonna go to hell if they don't switch up. Why it happens, if it happens, I don't know. You know, I'm not here saying 100%, 1000%. This was Jesus taught, like giving me. I don't know. But me as a person in faith and growing faith, I gotta take it as some type of sign. I can't just ignore it. I'm gonna continue doing what I've been doing, but for me, it's hard to ignore something like that.
How long were you locked up for? And like sleep paralysis type shit?
A couple seconds, not long. Once I woke up my eyes, it was probably like
Were
4 or
you
5
dizzy
seconds.
still afterwards?
I wasn't dizzy
Even after you
at
came
all.
to?
It wasn't dizziness at all.
Hmm.
It was just awake, and I seen the room. The room wasn't spinning, but I was still spinning, and that's the hard thing to describe.
I think
Because my body, it was almost like it was an out of body thing, but I was still here because when I opened my eyes, I seen my body and it felt normal. This is me. But it was just in panic mode trying to break out
still spinning
of the sleep paralysis while the spinning was happening. Then the spinning left me, and then like a second or two later, I broke out. So that's why it was weird. And then when I got there, I took a second to process it. And immediately my brother-in-law came in the room. He's like, this fool's probably sleeping. So it was like I didn't really get no time to think about it. And then I was thinking of like, I'm just gonna keep this to myself, right? Because I didn't feel like people ain't gonna believe me, you know, if I say this. But it was so crazy that I immediately told my sister. So I was like, because there's no way to hide it. I can't hide it. Because if I'm hiding, why am I hiding? That's why I question myself. If I hide this, why am I hiding it? I was like, if I hide this, why am I hiding it? Right? Am I ashamed? And no,
that it happened.
Not that it happened, but like to out here show my faith.
Oh, that you failed the test according to how you felt?
No. Just in my faith and period. Like, why do I not want to talk about it? But that's how I felt, though. I felt like I failed, but I laughed afterwards.
He'll probably test you again, though.
I welcome
if it was God and it was like if he was giving you
that's tight to me. Even if these dreams are just dreams and have nothing to do with religion, that's the dreams I want. Those are the dreams I want. because in no point in that dream was I afraid, aside of the spinning. But when I seen him, like when I entered the spinning, I knew it was because of Jesus. Because he came to me. When I called him, he looked right at me, walked towards me, got too close where I couldn't even see him anymore. I couldn't see him. And then all of a sudden I started spinning. So in my head, I'm like, this is Jesus is doing. So that's why I said, I trust you. Like whatever this is, wherever I'm going or whatever this, I trust you. Like, and when I said that, it started spinning faster. What if he was taking me slowly, huh? Somewhere, slowly, calmly. And when I said I trust you, he's like, oh, he trusts me. Full light speed. Huh. And then I got scared and jumped out. I don't know. It's hard to explain. And I know a lot of people ain't gonna believe me, and that's fine. I don't expect people to believe me. But Jesus is real. That's all I gotta say. And I'm not gonna tell anybody anything, as far as like I'm not gonna tell anybody anything. As far as religion, like you do, I don't know. Your life is your life. Now, I would hope you expand your mind, not only to Jesus, but you read all the religion books if necessary. Just open your mind a little bit. But in my eyes, Jesus is real.
It's kind of scary. What if I'm next, man?
But I think the reason why this happened to me is because I've been pursuing them, though.
But you said it could happen to even people who don't.
I don't know. Oh, well, from that, yeah. From
So I like imagine if he showed, because I don't think.
What? But when you hear their story, you're afraid?
No, it just makes me like sleep paralysis is never fun.
Yeah, but I've never been scared of sleep paralysis.
But
I've had sleep paralysis before.
It didn't,
and woke up and just like didn't fear it.
But because I'm linking sleep paralysis with evil.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why. And every time I've had sleep paralysis, which is like 2 or 3 times, it always came from dreams that were evil. It all ghost shit. It was always ghost shit that I was like fucking with them. Because every time I don't know what it is about me that when I'm in a room, I feel like even at nighttime, if I feel something watching me or like something evil or whatever, it's always like, oh, fuck you, do something, whatever. Right. And then when in my dream, I do the same shit and it like, oh yeah, motherfucker. And then it comes and grabs me. And when it grabs me, it sends fear through my whole shit. And because my whole body gets fear, and then I wake up, and then I'm blocked. And then that's why when I think of sleep paralysis, automatically I think evil shit. I've never linked it with God or anything like that.
But people say like when you're a believer in God and Jesus, right? When you truly believe in him, he's like a shield. So they say that you have the Holy Spirit in you. So when a demon or anything evil looks upon you, it's scared of you. Because you have a piece of Jesus, and they're terrified of Jesus. So now that my faith has grown, when I think of whenever fear comes, I always think like, nah, Jesus come, and that takes away fear from me. Because now I think like that.
So you think that it's easier for.
That's why I said to my niece who has like anxiety and stuff, I told her, read your Bible, learn who Jesus is, put your faith in Jesus, and he'll take all that away. You don't need medication. You don't need any of these things. If you really, like I told her, you have to believe in them though. It can't be like a semi-faith. That has to be true. And you can't lie to God. God knows your heart. If it's true, and like, if it's real, it's true, and you're pursuing him, he'll see it. And I feel like if you do that, he'll acknowledge you in any way. Like in my case, it was this dream possibly, right? But in your case, it may be something else. I don't know. But when you boil it down, right? Because you know how people say there's no evidence of God and stuff like that. I'm like, well, what created everything, right? Because I know that's a common question for everybody, but then they'll link it back to the Big Bang and stuff like that. But I'm like, nah, to me, this thing is too complex.
But you can't, like, there's always, it makes no sense. The universe makes no sense. How the hell, they say the Big Bang created everything, but there was shit before. You can't create something out of nothing. And you look at how big the universe is, There's always something. There's no. I used to think like when I was younger. I used to think like you gotta hit a wall. I was like,
Eventually.
like if you go straight, if you just go in any direction in the universe straight, eventually there's got to be an ending to it. That's what I used to think, and there you can't.
There's
There's
none.
nothing. But okay, so even if there's just puro black, that black is something. Time is something. So it makes no sense that there's. I have no idea what it is, huh? When you think about it, what is it? Where did it come from?
Man.
It's super crazy to think.
And when the universe is hella scary, huh? When you think about it, like it's hella scary. Even like in No Man's Sky. Like I played No Man's Sky. For those who don't know, it's a video game where you have like your own ship and you can go from planet to planet. But I played it in VR, right? Because they have a VR mode. And when I landed on a random planet, you feel scared because of the emptiness. Or if you land on a water planet where it's all water and only like certain land, it's hella scary and it just makes you think like, imagine if we were able to do that in real life, how scary that would be.
To land on a weird
Knowing
planet.
on the unknown.
Yeah. It's the same thing as being in the woods. And it's just,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No,
I think that
because you have a sense of knowledge in the woods. You know when you hear a certain sound, you can relate it to a coyote. When you're like, oh, or whatever, you can. So you have some sense of knowing.
So when you land in a different planet,
you don't know anything,
and you hear something, it don't sound like nothing
you
don't.
Ever heard of. You don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
And it's a different type of fear because you could be giants. It could be, and the most scary things to me is sea monsters. Things like
I think in the ocean, the reason why the ocean is a lot more scarier than land is solely because you're out of your place. Like you're not meant to be in the ocean. So you can drown real easy and then she can fuck you up real easy and it's hard to fight underwater. At least like in on land.
But I think it's just because it's dark. We're scared of darkness.
Well, I think that's instinctive, like humans. The dark.
That's why I just realized
because of like lions.
We're scared of darkness.
Yeah, I was watching Survivor Man, and he was in the jungle on one of the episodes, and he said he was getting some water, and he seen a jaguar, and jaguars are real like silent when they jump on your ass, and he said he's seen them. And he was just the jaguar was just looking at him, and he had a whistle. He blew the whistle. He yelled at him. He said that the jaguar didn't even flinch, and he said it scared him. And he's like, "Oh, I'm walking through the night." He walked through the jungle in the nighttime because he knew he couldn't spend the night. He couldn't stay. He said, "I can hear him.
He was following me.
I can hear him purr like around, like close, and it's pitch black. I can't see shit." He's like, he had his little camera. And he's walking through the jungle with the little camera just to because he's like, I'm only a few hours away from the locals. And he said he just walked for like 3 hours in the dark while he was hearing the thing follow him.
Jaguars, they sneak up on you? Like they're those type of animals?
Yeah, they'll sneak up on you. But he said he would hear him and he would turn around every so often. And when he got there, there was another group of people that also came in because they said that they heard a jaguar as well. And when it was in the middle of the night and they were still all up talking, and he said, "Look, you can hear the jaguar walking around their little shelter that they had." And he's like, "Thank God I can't spend the night out there." But that shit is hella scary because I'm sure that all our ancestors have had like this shit in their DNA where it was like fear from predators that were fucking them up. And that's why we're scared of the dark. And then we can't see very well in the dark, where all these motherfuckers have a good smell and a nighttime vision type shit. Yeah. Fuck that. I don't like the forest. I don't like the ocean. And space seems super tight to me. To be up in the space station that we have, and you know how the people do repairs and they got to go outside the ship, and then they tether themselves to the ship. That seems scary because if you go, they can't get you.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done. It's over. I think they have some type of like.
They have like some type of rocket
emergency,
something like that. Yeah, that gives you a push.
Yeah,
gives you.
But I think it only had one. I think you only have one go.
I don't know how that works.
And you're done. Like, but if then you go forever, then you'll just suffocate. You'll run out of oxygen eventually, and you're done.
Yeah, but going back to, because I wanted to ask you, going back to the story, like when you hear that story, like what are your complete thoughts of that?
I find it interesting. It brings me back to like don't forget, like why? Because it seems like life, like every time I feel like I don't thank God enough on the day to day, and I don't think of God naturally. I don't think of God a lot, and I feel like I should. And when I feel like I'm not, that's why I keep saying I don't feel worthy. I don't feel worthy whenever. That's why I don't ask him for anything, because I feel like I haven't done enough for you to give me any, because he keeps blessing me in my life. He keeps blessing me.
But that's why, and as far as like, why don't you take steps to repay him back by going into the book, by going into these things? Is it because of lack of faith in that specific book?
No, I feel like it's just
you don't believe in that.
I think lack of
discipline.
Probably discipline, and then the my interest in reading. I should be like, I'm trash when I should be considered like illiterate type, because I don't be reading for shit.
I don't be reading either, but my curiosity forces me to read.
And I think I'm dyslexic too.
Oh, I see that.
Because what dyslexic means what though?
I don't know.
Look it up. So
why would you say you think you're dyslexic?
Because I always be reading stuff and it makes no sense to me. I read it and it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm like, why did I say general when it said like my mind, when I read stuff, my mind automatically links a word. If I see a few letters together, it automatically links a word. Though. But it doesn't make sense sometimes. I'll read it and I'm like, why did I think that word was this word when it's not even that word?
See, it says dyslexia is a learning disorder that involves difficulty reading due to problems identifying speech sounds and learning how they relate to letters and words. Also called a reading disability. Dyslexia is a result of individual differences in area of the brain that process language. Okay, maybe I'm not. I think I have like 2% dyslexia then. It says dyslexia is not due to problems with intelligence, hearing, or vision. Most children with dyslexia can succeed in school with tutoring or specialized education program. Emotional support also plays an important role. The reason why I say that too is because I be reading shit backwards. What do you mean? Like I'll look at work. There a lot of the tags on the vehicle, so you know how to pull them up on the computer. They're 4 digits, and I'll read them, and then I'll go to the computer and I'll type the numbers in backwards a lot. Like hell, it's super consistent. So type the numbers in backwards. Yeah, like I'll go and read 7072. That's 4 digits. I go back to my computer and my ass is like, okay, what the fuck was that number? 7270. And then I'm like, I'd be like 2770. Yeah, I'd be doing it like that. And I'm like, what the fuck was the number? And I'll go back and then I'll read it again. And I'll have to say it in my head again. Say it in my head like 4 times. And I'll go back to the computer and then I'll get it right. But it happens so frequently that when I go ask for parts and I got the wrong tag number, I'll say the numbers backwards and they'll pull it up and be like, okay, that's the right thing. And I'm like, why do I keep doing that? I don't know. Why is my brain automatically switch the numbers around? And so when I go, I would bet money that these are the numbers and I'm wrong. And I don't know why it happens to me. And when I read, I'll read a different word that's not even there. And I'm like, this sentence doesn't make sense. But then I'll read it back again. And then I'm like, why did I think that word was this word when that's not even the word? But you can only get better by reading. I know, but it just seems like work. Because I remember people would tell me at school that I had like a horrible reading level. I had like a child reading level or something like that. in school, you know how they test your reading level. I remember people were saying my reading level was bad, but I felt like my reading level was super super bad until I started reading on my own, and then I was able to get better.
I've always been trash at English. When I was in at Delta, and when I went to take my, was it the AC? It was like an ACT. What the fuck is it? Whenever you take the test, when you go into college, do you take a test? ACT, whatever. I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
When you go, you take a test so you know where you're placed at as far as they break down every category from math to English, everything. They break it down, and then depending on how you score, you know what you got to take in order to get your degree and whatever.
Yeah.
When I went, my ass scored above average on math. Math, for whatever reason, has always been easy for me. Even though some of the problems that were on there, had no idea what the fuck they were talking about. But I just, based on what the question said and the answers given, I was able to break it down to give me a 50-50 chance, and then I would guess. And then
I would guess.
When
you
it
just
came,
say you're hella good at math,
but it's because
you would guess.
it was shit that it was never taught to me. It was like college level shit.
Oh,
They were just seeing where you were at, and because no one's ever showed me how to do these problems, how to solve them and shit. I would just take what people taught me in high school, and then figure out like do some guessment, do little, and then I'll rearrange the numbers and then get different answers, and then based on what I got, I would choose. Okay, you couldn't be this, and I would just. But math, I did good in math, so I didn't have to take math in college. English, I scored hella low. I scored like 10th grade or some shit like that. So I had to take English class. I took 2 English classes to get me up to college level status, and then I took 1 more English class to get my associates. And I remember the instructor that I had for English would tell me, like, I don't know if she would just like trying to like amp me up or like hype me up or whatever. So I would do
Feel
my
better.
work, but she would tell me like, I always look forward to hearing your essays, because we would write an essay once a week, and then we read it in front of the class. And I hate reading in front of the class.
Everybody does.
Like my ass would be, why my shit get so sweaty? And I would like one-on-one. It seemed like when I talk to anybody one-on-one, it's no problem. I can talk to anybody, but you put me on a stage and then in front of like 25 people.
Why is that though? Huh? It just seems like when all the focus is on you.
Yeah, I feel maybe because I feel like all eyes on you. You can't mess up, and then you start focusing too much on how you read, how you breathe, everything. Like I'm breathing too loud, and they're gonna hear me. It's all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But she would always tell me that. Like my instructor would be like, I look forward to every week to hear your stories. They're so interesting. They're so real. And I remember she would always.
What would you write about?
It would be like I wrote about music one time, like the power of music. I wrote about the growing up in Stockton. I remember the incident with that dude when he took your toy. Remember? And then he launched it across the street, and she was like, because I would say shit that was real. As far as like, I would say like I was scared. I didn't like, I was hella scared. First time that anybody's ever like pushed me, like where try to test you. And I would always, I wasn't scared to write what I was really feeling. And she would be like, oh, I always look forward to your stories. They're so full of, like she can envision it. So she's like, you should apply to get a scholarship for, it's like some type of grant that they give. Only so many people enter. So she's like, you should enter.
Into writing?
So I wrote an essay and I submitted it, and then I got it. It gave me $1,000, but I didn't even get to use it because it was the last semester for me. So I didn't even.
What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means.
What?
Scholarship.
They just give you so much money.
That's it?
So like if you
Oh.
have if you sign up for so many classes,
So it was like a competition, a contest, and you won?
well, I don't know if it was a contest, but I guess only so many people get chosen based on who's got the better story. I guess I don't know. But she would always ask me too, like, because I was the only brown dude in that class. It was all white people. One black girl, and then everybody else was white. And so whenever some hood shit came up, she would always tell me, "What do you think?" All the time. She'd be like
What
we
the-
were watching the video of Martin Luther King getting beaten,
Yeah.
and she told me straight to me, "Hey, she's like, what do you think of this?" And I'm like, I told her I've never seen that video before, and I'm like, that it just fucked up. I told him you can't. These times for those officers were a different time. Like they were able to get away with stuff like that, but that shit no longer play now.
Yes,
Like
it does.
Then people not. Do you think they get away still
Hell yeah, they get away still.
with video like that?
We have with video, okay.
Because what happened to those cops?
But even with video, there's videos where cops, they always find a way to right their wrongs. As far as in the court, they'll say, "Oh, I thought he had this. I thought he had this." And that's why we have to have, there's still some places in America where police officers don't have body cams. And that's like, no, you have to have a body cam today. In this day, you have to, because body cam be catching them lying. Body cams catch them trying to hide shit. So this is needed.
I think the police officers should be trained more, because you can tell, like in all the videos you be watching, it seemed like they're really they show up to the place upset, huh? Like expecting shit,
Yeah.
like expecting.
Yeah, I just don't
a
like
problem.
how, well, not everybody, I'm pretty sure it's not everybody, but I just don't like how a lot of police officers escalate instead of de-escalating. And they a lot of times they mix their authority with their ego. So if you hurt their ego in any way, they're out to get you. Like, no, fuck you. I'm gonna show you who the real power is. And as a police officer who has power, has authority, you can't abuse it at all. You have to be willing to. You should be trained in that, right? There should be a way to train you to control your emotions and understand, not take nothing personal. It should be like when people see you, they hate the badge, they hate the uniform, and you're wearing it. So of course they're gonna discriminate the police just like they discriminate other people. But that's just how it's gonna be. So you have to get used to that, so you don't allow your personal feelings to get involved with whatever you're doing.
I think some people can't do that,
I know some people can't do that
and
because they be escalating shit. They'll be saying, you're not in charge of this stop. That's how they say that. They'll be like, here, let me do this. Nah. You get out the car when I say you get out the car. Like that shit? No. That's wrong.
I think the reason some cops are like that is because they've had so many bad experiences probably prior, that now it's like they have to act like that, maybe for a safety issue for them. Like they're like, I'm not chancing it. Doesn't like
But as a police officer, you got to understand the risk. It's like when you join the Marines and they ship you wherever and you know you're out to fight, right? You understand that. So you, as a police officer, you got to understand that you're here to protect and serve. So your life is on the line. That's what it got to be. That's what it is. That's the reality of what it should be. So it's like, this dude might have a gun, but I can't behave like he does until I see evidence of such. I could take precaution, but now when you use your authority to make him do things, unnecessary things, just because you may assume, you have no evidence. When you have evidence, I understand you can use things as like behavior, you're nervous and stuff like that, but there's certain things that you just can't.
it's just a really difficult job, I think, huh?
It is. That's why it needs training.
Yeah.
Like you said,
And
the Marines is a fucking difficult job. What the fuck? They have a hard ass job too.
But it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier.
They're hella skilled with that rifle. I be
but
seeing videos where the Marines are passing by. There's a dude covering them with an assault rifle. Boom, 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 boom. The Marine passed by, immediately puts the gun down.
I know.
He passed by, gun up. Like, and it's so
Yeah, I know.
instinct. And when I
But-
see that, I'm like, damn, okay, I never seen that. I never seen that, like, that level, what do they call it?
Awareness. Huh?
Yeah, like he was just shooting.
Perceptive?
He just shooting, cover, and then as soon as somebody gets into his eyes, he already knows. He puts his gun down.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he out of sight, up again, letting him out. And I'm like, that's where they're training. When you could see something that's abnormal, huh? Because the Marine could pick up a gun and put you to shame. As he should. That's when you're like, oh, you've been trained, right?
And
it has to be known.
Yeah.
So when you see a police officer, it should be like that. Oh, look at him. That's not normal.
Hell
He's been
yeah.
trained. Look at what he's doing.
That's when you say, okay, my tax dollars are going.
Yeah,
to
going to good
good
things.
shit.
And like I always remember too, like how fast the police got here when our brother was having a seizure. That made me like, yeah. That made me grow my faith in the police. Because I used to have a negative mindset coming from Stockton. Everybody's like, fuck the police, all this shit. Now I'm like, no, hell no. We had to respect police. You know, because not everybody is a bad apple. So, and the fact that he pulled up and treated me so nicely, that police officer, you had like, nah, you can't just judge everybody like that.
Yeah, and then he saved that ex life. That alone carries respect.
Yeah.
And I also that's what I think too. I think police officers should carry hella respect.
But they have to, but it has to be earned.
I don't think it needs to.
You
be
don't have to
earned.
be earned.
I think
in today's age?
officers. I think every police officer requires respect, but it's
Just as a
because-
human. I think as a human, as a person,
as a human.
yes,
But also
but more
because,
respect than an average human.
I think
that
everyone-
has to be earned.
Yeah, everyone should give this level of
It has to
respect.
be earned.
But because they're in the position of helping the police. When you look at a police
Yeah, but
officer,
they're
right,
in that position, but they don't take their duty seriously.
but it's not. You don't know that.
But
at
we've
first
seen
glance.
that.
We've seen that, but because we can't pick and just from looking at them, you don't know that. So automatically,
They're saying give him the automatic respect first until he proves otherwise.
Until he shows he don't deserve it.
But you know what I seen too? When people are like, you know how in America we have the famous thing of saying you're innocent until proven guilty? And that's not true. Because a lot of time when they come and they don't know the situation, they detain you. If they called, somebody called about you over here, you look suspicious. So while we get the story, we're going to detain you. So how is that innocent until proven guilty?
I know.
If they're like, we can't, they're like, ma'am, hurry up, tell me what he did, because I can't just go detain him. Tell me real quick.
I know, but
you go cruise with him. Go walk
I think
with him.
they do that as a precaution because they don't want to risk anybody getting hurt. And it's like it doesn't feel good that they treat you this way, but they should be done respectfully somehow, because I don't understand. I don't know what the correct way to handle the situation is, but that's why their training should be there, because I shouldn't understand shit. There should be some type of program and train these officers and police officers all across the nation to be able to handle the situation, be able to detect shit on a glance, on body language, on all that shit. But I feel like they're not, because they're not properly funded. So I feel like the police should be funded just like our military. Like whatever the budget for the military spending is crazy, like fucking 180 billion. And what they spend on the police is nowhere near that. I think it should be fucking damn near there. I don't care. Take more money out of checks. I don't give a fuck. But I want the police officers in the U.S. to be seen like military status, like just like you said, when you look at a cop, you're like, God, be hella impressive. When you see a police officer handling shit, hella impressive. And they need to be more fit too. And I understand
that. I
understand they're sitting all day because they're driving everywhere, but you need to get
that gotta be a requirement.
Yeah, because you can't.
That gotta be a requirement.
You cannot be fit.
I know. And I see a lot of police officers in these videos, and they can't run a block. What? And you can't run a block? Like, how far can a Marine run?
And he carries shit too.
And he carries
Marine
shit.
will carry another Marine on his shoulders, and he'll run
yeah.
while he's shooting.
Yeah, those motherfuckers are top notch. No fucking with them. But that's what I'm saying. So when I see that, the dude who's protecting you is not fit. It just seems
That
like
is crazy.
And fit doesn't mean you have to be buff as shit. No.
Yeah,
No. That just means like you have to be in somewhat in shape. You can
Yeah.
run. You can do things longer than the average human being. That's what I need.
Yeah.
But
Because it should be a requirement, because you're out here protecting and serving. So you
it takes muscle.
Yeah.
You have to detain people. You have to arrest somebody.
And sometimes you
if
gotta
he's
fight.
strong, if he's a strong motherfucker, you got to be strong too. And I heard somebody say this, and this is probably gonna piss people off, but he said women should not be police officers
because
they don't have the strength. They cannot. Like I seen a lot of videos where women have to wait for backup because they can't take care of the situation, and I seen a lot of videos where they try to take care of the situation and they get knocked on their ass. They get dropped down,
and
it's because when you're fighting a man. And it's hard, right?
Yeah, it's not the girl's fault, not the women police officers' fault that they can't handle it when it comes to physical shit, because it's like someone twice their size, and
it's just an
sucks.
unfortunate way that men are more likely stronger.
But if the female police officers were trained in physical combat,
and if they
she'll choke that motherfucker out.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So it doesn't matter her size.
But I think that's different though, because if they knew like jiu-jitsu or whatever, I don't think they could apply it, because they're gonna grab you. They got a gun on their hip, so the other dude can go and reach. So I don't think that would be.
I mean, she get him on a leg lock, break his freaking ankle.
Nah.
Like there's things. I feel like it wouldn't hurt. If anything, it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
So because it's like, okay, whatever, because if it's really where you have to shoot him, then just shoot his ass. But I'm saying like, if for whatever reason you can just apply a quick little chokehold, because when people are getting choked, they're trying to get free. They're not thinking about like,
yeah,
hey,
but you never know though.
Yeah, I know, but like you can choke somebody out with one hand if you wanted to. Well, maybe I don't know about a woman. I don't know about a woman, but like some of them jiu-jitsu girls be fucking dudes up. Big
I know they can.
So I don't know. I feel like I don't, when it comes to, but then too though, like it sucks. People are gonna get mad, but just in general, seems like men are better under pressure than women are. Like when it's just, I think it's just the truth. I seen a dude.
They're coming for you now. Huh?
I seen a dude was driving, right? Like his girl was passed out sleeping. They're like on a road trip, and dude was driving. She was sleeping, and this dude started dozing off. And then he passes out, and he's driving, and then he goes into he starts driving off the road, and he goes into a field. And dude's like, oh shit. And he starts like, oh fuck. And then he gets into, he's like, we're okay. And the girl's like, like, and they already stopped. And she's still screaming like they're gonna die. And I'm like,
yeah, but that's not all women.
I know, but it's just like, I'm not saying all women, but I'm saying if you were to tally it up, it would say like 10% of women are better.
No, I thought you were gonna say like, as far as like, if you do a test on 1,000,
I would say 10% of women can handle pressure better than some men. Not every man. Like if you give a solid ass motherfucker, right, all the pressure in the world, solid, the most solid motherfucker in this planet has ever produced, and then you give the same pressure to a woman, the most badass girl that this whole earth has ever produced, that you can find that ever existed in the whole wide world, the man will still be more badass. Like as far as pressure, he still handle more pressure, because it's just the DNA. Men are just built like that. It is what it is. You can't,
because men has always been like that. The protectors, huh? The ones who fight. The one, even since the caveman days and shit like that, who fight. And the women has been the nurturers and stuff like that, stay behind. The men are the ones who are like with their chest out for threats and shit. So I don't know.
But I think also it's like this different, because some women are capable of some strength that men can't do when it comes to like their kids. I think that's where the strength is different. When it comes to women,
I think we both have our roles. That's what it is.
Yeah, we just excel at different shit.
Yeah.
And you can't compare because it's two different things. But because the society wants to be equal, at least today, in today's standards, everybody wants to be equal. And we should always, I think everybody should be nice to each other and like treat each other equally. But when it comes to like people wanna take men roles and adopt them to women too, but you can't just transfer them over. They don't transfer over like that.
Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.